Do you know anyone who has spent their entire life trying to deal with bad habits, but that person always fails? Some people try to overcome their addictions, such as alcohol, drugs, or other problems like obesity and procrastination, but they always return to their bad habits days later. You've probably met someone who said they were going to lose weight. This person started a super restrictive diet, cutting out everything they believed to be unhealthy, started running and going to the gym every day. But days later, when stress and the difficulty of balancing family, work, studies, and the diet set in this initiative ended up being destroyed. And this person ends up returning to bad habits, perhaps in a worse way than before. I know this happens frequently, and maybe that person is you. But what if I told you? There's a method combining several philosophies I've discussed here on the channel that can help you overcome any bad habit, including problems like obesity, alcohol addiction, or dealing with procrastination. And best of all, it's a super simple system. This system combines several concepts such as Ikigai, Kaizen, Hara Hachibu, Wabashabi, and lastly, Gambaru. But I need to warn you that this system goes against what many productivity coaches teach about change. It goes against what motivational gurus try to sell us every day. And it will require you to do something that seems ridiculously small. So small that you'll think it doesn't work until it works. Before I show you exactly how this system works, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment on which habit you most want to change in your life. I receive many comments from people who have applied what we teach on this channel to their lives and have experienced real changes, and I am happy to read each of your feedback. Actually, the idea for this video came from a comment I read where a subscriber asked me for help overcoming obesity. So, it made this content focusing more on obesity. But what I'm going to teach here can be applied to any area of your life. Thank you so much for your attention. I love all of you who follow me here. Now, back to the video. Chapter 1: The Day Everything Changed. Today, I'm going to tell the story of a man named Christopher. Christopher was 40 years old, weighed 140 kilos, and was dying slowly without realizing it. He wasn't a bad guy. He'd worked as a stock manager in a warehouse for 15 years. He woke up at 5 a.m. and got home at 7 p.m. to kids, a wife, bills to pay. The typical lower middle-class guy who supports his family and forgets he has a body, his diet, whatever he had time to eat. Breakfast in the car, lunch at his office desk, dinner watching TV because he was too exhausted to sit at the table with his family. Weekends were pizza, beer, and the couch. He deserved it. After all, he worked harder than a mule. His body began to give the first signs that something was wrong, but he ignored them. Climbing the stairs was exhausting. Tying his shoes became an engineering challenge. He had to sit down, hold his breath, strain his stomach. The children asked to play tag, and he made up excuses. His wife suggested a walk in the park, but he was too tired. But you know what hurt the most? It wasn't the numbers on the scale. It was the look in his 7-year-old daughter's eyes when she stopped asking him to play. She had learned that her father didn't play, and Christopher saw that, felt that, and did nothing because he had already tried to change before. 3 times he went to the gym for 2 months, but stopped. He followed a low-carb diet for 3 weeks, but gave up. He went for a morning run for 5 days, but stopped that too. He had arrived at that dangerous place where most people die without dying. Acceptance of defeat. That's just how I am. I've always been fat. It's my genetics. My metabolism is slow. I don't have time until the day your body says no. It was a Saturday morning. Christopher was playing in the backyard with his 9-year-old son. No, he wasn't playing. He was sitting in a plastic chair watching the boy play ball alone. Thison kicked the ball far away. It landed in the neighbor's flower bed. "Dad, can you get it for me?" Christopher stood up. He walked to the flower bed. He bent down to pick up the ball, and he couldn't get up. Not because he was in pain or injured. He simply didn't have the strength in his legs to lift his own body weight. He lay on all fours on his neighbor's flower bed, sweating, trying to get up while his 9-year-old son watched silently. The neighbor had to help him get up. This might sound absurd to you watching, but believe me, there are people who go through this kind of situation where they can't perform basic daily tasks. That night, Christopher sat on the edge of the bed and cried. He cried because he was 40 years old and needed help getting up. He cried because his son had seen it. He cried because he realized he was building a memory in that child's mind. My father was weak. His wife entered the room. She didn't say anything. She just hugged him and then she said, "You need help?" Chris. Really? On Sunday morning, he called the only friend who had lost weight and kept it off. A guy named Marcus who had lost 30 kilos and looked different, not just thinner, more complete. "Marcus, I need help. Did you go to the doctor? Did you take any medicine? How did you do it?" Marcus paused. "I did go to a doctor, yes, but not the kind of doctor you're thinking of. He didn't give me medicine. He gave me a philosophy. Philosophy doesn't make me lose weight." Marcus. "Chris, you're wrong." Marcus replied. Chapter 2. The Japanese Doctor. The following Tuesday, Christopher sat in a minimalist consultation room that didn't look like a doctor's office. No anatomy posters, no hospital smell, just a wooden table, 2 chairs, and a huge window overlooking the garden. Drive. T's High Yamamoto entered about 65 years old. Thin, erect posture, calm movements. He didn't look like a doctor. He looked more like a monk. Christopher, tell me what brought you here. Chris told him everything. The weight, the tiredness, the children, Thisham, the flower bed. When he finished, he expected to hear about diet, exercise, blood tests. Dr. Yamamoto didn't turn on his computer. He didn't take out any prescriptions. He simply said, "Tell me something. How many times have you tried to lose weight? 3, 4, maybe? And how long did each attempt last? 2 months at most, usually a few weeks." Dr. Yamamoto nodded. "Do you know why it failed?" Christopher started the list that everyone talks about. Lack of time, genetics, metabolism. The doctor raised his hand, interrupting. "No, you failed because you tried to win a 40 years war in a 2-month battle. Your body took 40 years to reach this weight. Your mind took 40 years to build these habits, and you think you can undo that in weeks. Silence. Christopher, I'm going to make you a proposition. I'm going to ask you to make a change today. A change so small that you'll think I'm kidding you. So small that it will seem pointless. Do you accept? Chris was desperate. I'll accept anything. Great. From today onwards, every day when you wake up, before doing anything else, you're going to drink a glass of water. That's all. A glass of water. Christopher waited the rest. He didn't come. Just that. A glass of water. A glass of water every day for 2 weeks. Nothing else. You can continue. A glass of water every day for 2 weeks. Nothing else. You can continue eating pizza, drinking beer, watching TV. Just add the glass of water in the morning. Doctor, with all due respect, I need to lose about 50 kilos. A glass of water won't do it. You're right. A glass of water isn't going to make you lose 50 kilos. Dr. Yamamoto leaned forward. But it will do something much more important. It will prove to you that you can keep a promise to yourself. And that proof is the only thing you really need right now. Christopher left the doctor's office confused. He paid $200 for a consultation only to be told he needed to drink water. He was even annoyed. But something Dr. Yamamoto said kept nagging got me. A promise to yourself. How many promises had he broken? How many Mondays had he sworn he would change only to give up by Wednesday? If he couldn't trust himself, how could he possibly change? That night, he filled a glass with water and left it on his bedside table. The next morning, when the alarm clock rang at 5 a.m., he saw the glass. He drank it. Simple as that. Day 2, same thing. Day 3, also on day 7, something different happened. He woke up before his alarm clock, and the first thing he thought was, "Where's my glass of water?" His brain began to expect it. On the 14th, he returned to the doctor's office. Dr. Yamamoto asked, "Did you drink water every day? How do you feel?" "Honestly, a little silly. I didn't lose any weight, but I don't know. I did it. I did something for 2 whole weeks." The doctor smiled. "You've just learned first principle of Japanese philosophy that will change your life. It's called Kaizen. Continuous improvement through microscopic changes. You didn't try to climb the mountain all at once. You just took one step and then another, and then another." "But doctor, a glass of water." "It's not about the glass of water, Christopher. It's about proving to your brain that change is possible, that you're not the type of person to give up. Now tell me, are you ready for the next step? What it is? Keep drinking water in the morning, but now add one more thing. Put half the food you would normally put on your plate. Just half. You can have seconds if you're still hungry after 20 minutes. But first half." Christopher remained silent. This just seemed too small. But he had been drinking water for 14 days straight. He had proven something to himself. "Okay, I'll do it. Great. We'll talk again in 3 weeks." Chapter 3. The Hidden Philosophy. What Dr. Yamamoto didn't explain at that moment, but which Christopher would gradually discover, was that he wasn't just changing habits. He was being introduced to a complete philosophical system that the Japanese have used for centuries. Kaizen was just the gateway. Continuous improvement of 1% per day. The idea that you don't need to be perfect tomorrow. You just need to be 1% better than today. And if you improve 1% per day for a year, you don't improve 365%. You improve 3,778%. It's exponential math. One of the secrets behind introducing these small habits is that they are keystone habits, angular habits, keystone habits. These are habits that, when implemented, trigger a cascade of positive changes in other areas of your life. They act like a lever or the first domino. By focusing on improving just a core habit, you begin to have small wins that almost automatically facilitate and boost the creation of other good habits. But there were other philosophies at work there that Christopher was not yet aware of. The first week with half the food on his plate was brutal. He would finish eating and just stare at feast of wanting more. His brain was screaming, "You're still hungry, eat more." But then he remembered Drive Yamamoto's words, "Wait 20 minutes. If you're still hungry, eat more." Do you know how many times in 3 weeks he went back to eat more after 20 minutes? Twice, because his body wasn't hungry. It was just spoiled. Dr. Yamamoto was teaching him about thorough hachibu without mentioning the name yet. It's the Okinawan principle of eating until you're 80% full. The idea is that your stomach takes 20 minutes to signal to your brain that it's satisfied. If you fill your plate and eat quickly, you go past that point and only realize it when you have a stomach ache. At the next appointment, Christopher had lost 3 kilos. It's not about the weight, Dr. Yamamoto said. It's about the direction. You're going in the right direction. For the first time in 40 years, your body is moving where you want it to go. I feel different, Christopher admitted. Not just lighter. I feel in control because you are now the next step. You're going to add movement, but not in the way you're thinking. No. You'll walk from your door to the mailbox and back every day in the morning after your water, before getting in the car for work. Christopher laughed. "Doctor, the mailbox is 20 meters from my door." This isn't exercise. It's not about exercise. It's about creating the habit of movement. Your body has forgotten that it was made to move. You're going to remind it gently 20 meters today. Next week, maybe you'll want to go to the corner, but today just to the mailbox. Christopher did what the doctor told him to. Water in the morning, half his food. Walk to the mailbox. On the 3rd day of the walk, his 7-year-old daughter saw him leaving. "Dad, can I come with you?" They walked together to the mailbox. She held his hand. She talked a little about school and her best friend. Things she never told him because her father was always too tired to talk. When they returned, she asked, "Can we do this every day?" The following week, Christopher started going to the corner store, not because the doctor told him to, because his daughter wanted him to. And for the first time in years, he succeeded. Without shortness of breath, without back pain. He could do it. By the end of the 2nd month, he had lost 8 kilos. But the real change wasn't on the scale. It was in the mirror. Not in the body he saw, but in his eyes. There was a light there that hadn't been there before. During the consultation, Dr. Yamamoto asked, "Christopher, Tell me something. Why are you doing all this? To lose weight? No. Why are you really doing this? What is the underlying reason? Christopher thought for the first time. He really thought, I want to see my children grow up. I want to walk my daughter down the aisle someday. I want to have quality time with my wife. I want to feel worthy of myself. Dr. Yamamoto nodded. That's your ikigai, your reason for living. The Japanese believe that everyone has an ikigai, a purpose. Your ikigai isn't about losing weight. It's about being present for your family. Weight is just the obstacle between you and your purpose. That changed everything because now, when Christopher didn't want to wake up early, he didn't think about water or dieting. He thought about his daughter holding his hand when he wanted to fill his plate. He didn't think about calories. He thought about walking her down the aisle. Purpose is not motivation. Motivation fades. Purpose is fuel that never runs out. Chapter 4. The first 4. 3 months later, Christopher had lost 14 kilos. His clothes started to feel loose. Co-workers asked what he was doing. Just a few minor adjustments, he replied. But then came Thanksgiving Day. You know how it is. A table full of food. Turkey, mashed potatoes, pumpkin pie, pecan pie. The whole family gathered. Everyone serving enormous plates, and Christopher tried to fit half of it on his plate. His mother asked, Is that all? Are you sick? Their brother-in-law, Dude, it's Thanksgiving. Forget the diet for a day. Social pressure is a silent killer of change. Everyone wants you to go back to being who you were, because your transformation makes them uncomfortable about who they are. Christopher gave in. He filled his plate. He ate until he couldn't eat anymore. He felt that horrible sensation of being too full of having failed. That night, he looked in the mirror and thought, damn it, I broke the streak. I'm going to give up like I always do. The next morning, he didn't want to drink water. He didn't want to walk. The old pattern of since I've already failed, there's nothing I can do was returning. But then he remembered something Dr. Yamamoto had said that he hadn't understood at that time. You will fail, and when that happens, you will find out if you have truly changed. He picked up his cell phone and texted the doctor. Doctor, I ate too much yesterday. I ruined everything. I don't know if I can go on. The reply came in 2 minutes. Come to the office this afternoon. Christopher sat in his usual chair expecting a scolding or a motivational spec. Dr. Yamamoto came in, sat down, and said, Tell me what happened. Chris explained everything. Thanksgiving, the pressure, the failure, the urge to give up. And did you drink water this morning? And did he walk? I walked. So you didn't fail. You stumbled. There's a huge difference between stumbling and falling. When you stumble, you lose your balance for a second. When you fall, you stop moving completely. The doctor leaned forward. Christopher, I'm going to teach you about WABISHABI. Now. It's a Japanese philosophy that celebrates imperfection. The idea that nothing is permanent, nothing is perfect, and nothing is complete. And that this imperfection is where true beauty exists. How you hate too much one day. So what? That doesn't erase 14 kilos lost. It doesn't erase 3 months of waking up early and drinking water. It doesn't erase the walks with your daughter. One imperfect day doesn't destroy a perfect journey. Christopher felt something breaking inside him. Not him breaking, the expectation of perfection shattering. But what if I overeat again? You will, multiple times, and every time it happens, you will wake up the next day and drink water. Because practice isn't about never failing, it's about always returning. That changed everything for Christopher, because for the first time in his life, he wasn't trying to be perfect. He was trying to be consistent. And consistency accepts imperfection. Perfection rejects reality. Now, Dr. Yamamoto continued, I'm going to teach you about Gombaru, perseverance. The ability to endure even when it's difficult. You showed Gambaritode. You overeat yesterday. You didn't want to continue today, but you drank water and walked anyway. That's Gamba are you enduring discomfort because you know it's temporary. In the following months, Christopher relapsed several times. At Christmas, he overeat. On his son's birthday, he had too much cake. On a stressful weekend, he went back to pizza and beer. But every time he stumbled, he returned. Water in the morning, half on the plate. Walk. And something happened. The falls started to become smaller, less frequent because each time he returned, his brain learned, we don't give up anymore. We just keep going. By the 6th month, he had lost 23 kilos. But the real transformation wasn't in the weight. It was the moment he went downstairs to play Lego with his son, and then got up on his own, effortlessly without thinking. It was the night his wife suggested a walk after dinner, and he said yes without hesitation. It was Saturday when his daughter asked to play tag, and he chased her around the yard laughing, sweating and full of life. The wife watched from the kitchen window and smiled because the man she had married was returning. Not his body, his essence. Chapter 5. The question that changes everything. By the 9th month, Christopher had lost 35 kilos. He wasn't just walking to the corner anymore. He was walking 30 minutes every day. He was no longer putting half on his plate out of discipline. He was doing it because his body no longer wanted that much. But something deeper had changed. He had become a different person. During that month's consultation, Dr. Yamamoto asked, Christopher, when was the last time you thought about giving up? Chris paused. When was it? Last week? Last month? He couldn't remember. I don't know. It's been a while. You know why? Because you stopped trying to change and started living differently. It's no longer about foot. It's about identity. You're no longer a fat guy trying to lose weight. You're a guy who takes care of himself. That's the difference between temporary change and permanent transformation. The doctor pulled out a piece of paper and drew 5 connected circles. Everything I've taught you in these 9 months can be summarized in these 5 philosophies. Iki, you've discovered your purpose. It's not about losing weight. It's about being there for your family. Kaizen, you improved 1% per day. Water, food, movement, small changes that accumulated. Harahachi-bu, you have learned moderation. Eat up to 80%. Note up to 120%. Wabi-shi-sabi, you accepted imperfection. You stumbled many times and always returned. Gombaru, you held on. On that of days, you didn't give up. You just did the bare minimum to maintain momentum. Christopher looked at the paper. Those 5 words explained his entire transformation. "Doctor, can I take this?" "You can, but I want you to understand one thing. This isn't a weight loss system. It's a lifestyle system. You can apply this to anything you want to change. Career, relationships, finances, anything." Chapter 6: The Moment of Truth. In the 12th month, Christopher went for a routine blood test. He hadn't had one in years because he was afraid of what he would find out. The doctor at the health center came in with the results and stared at the paper with a confused look. "Christopher, have you started any new treatment? Why? Your cholesterol has dropped. Your blood pressure is normal for the first time in years. Your blood sugar is very good. What are you doing?" Christopher laughed. "Drinking water in the morning." The doctor didn't get the joke. Butcherus did, because it hadn't happened because of the water. It had happened because of 365 days of making small, better choices. A glass of water doesn't change your cholesterol, but 365 glasses of water, plus 365 plates with half the food, plus 365 walks. A completely different body. He went home that day, took off his shirt, and stood in front of the mirror. For the first time in 20 years, he looked at his own body without shame. He didn't have a six-pack. He still had loose skin in some places. He still had about 15 kilos to lose to reach his ideal weight. But do you know what he saw? He saw a man who had kept a promise to himself every day for an entire year, not by the 18th month. Christopher had lost 50 kilos. He weighed 90 kilos. He wasn't the thinnest man in the world, but he was healthy, strong, present. His daughter turned 9. They had a party in the park. The children were running around playing tag, and for the first time, Christopher ran after them. One of the parents at the party asked, "Dude, how did you lose all that weight?" Christopher considered talking about Japanese philosophies, about Kaizen-Stoic, but he decided not to complicate things. One step at a time, literally. That night after the party, he was lying in bed with his wife. She said, "Do you know what I love most about your transformation?" "What?" "It's not that you lost weight. It's that you came back. The man I married, the father our children deserve. You were here physically, but you weren't present. Now you are." Christopher held her hand. "I almost gave up so many times, but I didn't give up. No, I haven't given up." A Stanford University researcher studying habit formation discovered that most changes fail not because people are weak, but because they try to change too quickly. The human brain is programmed to resist drastic changes because it interprets them as a threat. But when you introduce microscopic changes, less than a 1% difference per day, the brain doesn't trigger the resistance alarms. You essentially hack your own nervous system. Another study on longevity in Okinawa revealed the populations that live the longest in the world do not follow radical diets. They follow simpler principles: moderation in eating, constant movement, a clear purpose in life, acceptance of imperfection, and perseverance in the face of difficulties. These 5 characteristics appear consistently in all blue zones of the world. A neuroscientist at the University of London who studies self-discipline explains, Willpower is a limited resource. It depletes throughout the day. But when you transform behaviors into identity, when you stop trying to do and start being someone who does, you no longer need willpower. The behavior becomes automatic because it's part of who you are. But here's the part nobody tells you about real transformation. Christopher didn't stop at losing 50 kilos because the system he learned wasn't about losing weight. It was about building a life. In his second year, he applied Kaizen to his career. One small improvement per day at work. He was promoted to regional manager because he started applying the same principles. In their third year, he applied to the relationship. He discovered that his purpose with his wife wasn't just being married. It was to build a partnership where they both grew together. They started taking nighttime walks together, having real conversations, planning for future. Their daughter is 12 years old now. The other day she said, "Dad, do you remember when you couldn't play with me?" I remember. Me too. But you know what I remember most? The day you started walking with me to the mailbox. That's when I knew you were going to be okay. Christopher realized at that moment that his transformation hadn't been just his. It had been the whole family's. Because when you change, you give permission for everyone around you to change, too. His son, who is now 14, started waking up early to exercise without anyone telling him to, because he saw his father doing it. His wife started meditating because she saw that change was possible. Transformation is not contagious. It is permissive. It grants permission. Chapter 7. The Complete System. At 2 years after that first consultation, Christopher weighed 88 kilos. He maintained a weight loss. He still drinks water every morning. He still walks every day. He still eats until he's 80% satisfied because that's who he is. But the craziest part, he trains other people now. People from work see his transformation and ask, "How did you do that?" And you know what he says? Let me ask you something. What's the smallest change you can make today? People always respond with something like, "Oh, I can start going to the gym." No, smaller than that. Much smaller. Like what? Like drinking a glass of water in the morning. The person laughs. That's all. That's all for 2 weeks. Then we'll talk again. 9 out of 10 people don't come back to talk to him because they're still looking for the magic solution, the 21-day diet, the lightning fast transformation, the miracle pill. But what about that 10th person? That person comes back into weeks and says, "I drank water every day and you were right. I feel different." And Christopher knows this person understood. This person will succeed. Dr. Yamamoto retired. During his last consultation, he told Christopher, "You know, you never needed me, right? Like this, everything I taught you was already inside you. I just gave you permission to go slowly, to be imperfect, to keep going even when it was difficult. But the strength was always yours, Doctor. I literally couldn't get up from a squat in the pavilion years ago. Physically, no. But mentally, you got up from a squatting position every single day of your life. Every day you woke up, went to work, supported your family, endured the tiredness, the frustration, the shame. You always had Gombaro. You just didn't know you had him. That broke Christopher. So all I needed to know was no. You needed a system that respected who you were. A system that didn't demand you become a superhero overnight. A system that accepted your humanity, your imperfection, your weariness, and used all of that to foster transformation, not against it. The Japanese philosophies I taught you aren't about being perfect. They're about being human and continuing to be human every day without stopping. Christopher embraced Dr. Yamamoto that day with a feeling of immense gratitude because that man hadn't saved his life. He had given it back to him. Chapter 8. The Legacy. There's a photo on Christopher's living room wall. He weighs 142 kilos, sitting in a plastic chair in the backyard, watching his children play. Not participating, just watching. And next to that photo, there's another one. Him weighing 88 kilos on the floor, playing Lego with his son, his daughter jumping on his back, laughing. His wife took that second photo without him knowing. And when he saw it, he asked, "Why did you take that picture?" She replied, "Because this is the moment I've been waiting for 10 years. The moment you came back." But do you know what the most important part of this whole story is? It's not that Christopher lost 52 kilos. It's not that he reversed type 2 diabetes. It's not that he got a promotion at work. His daughter, who is now 12 years old, recently told her friend at school, "My father is the most disciplined person I know," because she grew up watching him drink water every day, watching him walk every day, watching him stumble, fall, get up, and keep going. She grew up seeing that transformation isn't about motivation, it's about identity. And when she's 20, 30, 40, and life gets tough, she'll remember. She'll remember that her father proved that change is possible. One small choice at a time, one day at a time, forever. This is the real legacy, not the transformed body, but the living proof that you can be who you want to be. You just need the patience to build the person one brick at a time. Now, let me ask you something. You've made it this far in the video. That means you're looking for something. Maybe it's losing weight like Christopher. Maybe it's another addiction. Maybe it's just the feeling that you're not living the life you should be living. You might be thinking, "This doesn't work for me. My situation is different, more difficult, more complicated." You're right. Your situation is different, but the system is the same. Because no matter what your addiction is, your bad habit, or the life you want to change, the problem is never a lack of information. You know you need to eat better. You know you need to exercise. You know you need to sleep more, drink less alcohol, and be more present. You know all of this.